So how do you like your F1? It has been the Max Verstappen podcast for the longest time, but not anymore. That session, that qualifying session at the British Grand Prix summarises, epitomises even everything that is right in the world of F1. You had stakes, you had uncertainty, you had changeable conditions. No longer is Max Verstappen in the most dominant car for the house of Mercedes. The boys and girls of Brackley and Brixworth are catching up. They are back, are they not? If they can do it here at Silverstone, then surely they can do it anywhere. Shout out to Jay-Z and Alicia Keys. What are we doing? I love that session. That has to be one of the best sessions that I've seen season to date. It had everything. And of course, we've got to talk about Mercedes. Are they back now? Surely they are back. Again, you've got to account for the fact that Maximilian Verstappen in his RB20 had damage. His Venturi tunnels were damaged, courtesy of a cheeky off. But nevertheless, if we're talking about Maximilian Verstappen, at least he made it through out of Q1 and Q2 into Q3, unlike his teammate Checo Perez. Oh, the humanity for Christian Horner is going to have himself a very serious conversation, is he not, with the man formerly known as the Mexican Minister of Defense. No longer, for you cannot fail so materially, underperform so consistently and maintain your pimp card, such a cool name as the Mexican Minister of Defense. He has been nowhere. Christian Horner said as much after free practice that they're going to have themselves a serious conversation. He will have performance clauses in his contract and they will need to be taken into consideration. Yet again, he fails to get himself out of Q1. This is now becoming a habit. No longer can he blame it on anomalous, even mitigating circumstances. He leaves Maximilian Verstappen under pressure, vulnerable. He's now got to wrestle with two McLarens and two Mercedes if indeed he's going to continue his record that over the past 2 years, never ever has he lost 2 consecutive races. It is techie, right? A tall order for Maximilian Verstappen and the storylines ensue. Toto Wolff will be leveraging this now, using it as bait even for the free, soon-to-be 4-time champion, the Dutchman, the legend that is Maximilian Verstappen, to cross over, to leave the bulls that are red and go over to the boys and girls of Brackley and Brixworth. For Max said that he needed 2 things if he was to continue, see out his contract through to 2028, those being harmony at the bulls that are red. Christian Horner has already jeopardised that, did he not? Last week saying that Jos Verstappen cannot drive the RB16B. There will be no photos and there will be no videos. He wasn't allowed to drive the car that Max won his first championship in 2021. Toto Wolff said that was pitiful, that you disallowed the father from driving his son's car. Here's what Toto Wolff is doing, stirring in real time with a view to get the signature of Maximilian Verstappen. The other thing Max said that he needed if he was going to stay at the bulls that are red is a dominant car, a car capable of winning single races, if not championships. Can you argue then, on the back of this qualifying session, that Mercedes might be in pole position, no pun intended even, to receive then, attain then, the signature of Maximilian Verstappen? Are they not one of the quickest cars, maybe even quicker than Red Bull? For pressure bust pipes, does it not? And the mistakes are now seeping in. Of course, it was changeable conditions. Checo Perez went out in Q1, but so too did Maximilian Verstappen make mistakes. Oh, the humanity. 2, we need to talk about intra-team rivalries. Alonso gets it done over Lance Stroll, finally, a reversion to mean. Aston Martin appear to be quick again. They've made adjustments, bought upgrades. Now it is getting techie. So too, over at the guys and girls at Maranello Scuderia Ferrari, Carlos Sainz reasserting his dominance yet again at Charles Leclerc. If they can't bring a car with drivability on 10, sadly for Charles Leclerc, he metamorphs yet again into modern day Jean Lazy. Mistake settings, unforced error settings, despite what the Charles Fossey will have you believe. Sometimes he needs to take accountability for that and prove positive of that thesis is the fact that he's been outqualified yet again by Carlos Sainz Jr., the chap that they deemed not fit for purpose, the chap that Lewis Hamilton is due to replace next year. Speaking of whom, Lewis Hamilton must be looking at that red car thinking, what have I done? Have I made a mistake? Have I done exactly what I didn't do back in 2013, 2014 and left Mercedes, the Silver Arrow team, at precisely the wrong time? Lest we forget, Toto Wolff said next year Lewis Hamilton is going to have to get used to our rear wing. He doesn't even look good in red overalls. Well, oh, the humanity. Is that Toto the boy who cried wolf, or is that Nostradamus? Because everything that he's saying is coming to life. He's breathing truth on his predictions, as you know. I've got to put some respect on his name. Disparaging have I been about Toto the boy who cried wolf. But is this not one of the greatest, quickest comebacks in F1 history, if indeed Mercedes are back to the front of the pack? Surely a front row lockout at the hands of Messrs Hamilton and Russell, King George of King's Lynn, Norfolk, first of his name, is proof positive. George Russell again, 2/10 as near as makes no difference, quicker than the 7-time champion. And is this not cause for Lewis to confront his own mortality? I've said on a gazillion occasions now, when you get past your prime as an F1 driver, the first thing to go, you will lose a 10th in pace. 10-2 is the head-to-head record between Mr. Saturday and Sir Lewis Carl Davidson Hamilton. That is telling, is it not? Now, that's not to say that Lewis in his racecraft, God-tier racecraft, changeable conditions yet again expected for the race tomorrow, cannot usurp that difference, cannot go on and attain 25 points, potentially. But we need to see in real time, right? I'm reserving judgment. I am still concerned. 39, soon to be 40 years old is Sir Lewis Hamilton. He's roundly being beaten now by Mr. Saturday. His teammate, King George Russell, first of his name. George Russell is on one. Dialed in, is he not? It's telling too where George Russell gained time. Through Sector 1, he was behind Lewis Hamilton. The delta, the positive quantum, from Mr. Saturday's perspective, came through Sector 2, being Maggots and Beckett's, the places where Sir Lewis Carl Davidson Hamilton normally excels. That is telling for the Lewis Hamilton fan base. And again, Lewis Hamilton, I said this at Canada, if George beats Lewis around Canada, Canada being the place where Lewis Hamilton has won just as many races as he has championships, 7. If George can beat Lewis around there and out-qualify him, that tells a story. Take that and times it by 10 around Silverstone. For Lewis has 10,000 hours worth of deliberate practice around here. He's God tier at Silverstone. And again, for the avoidance of doubt, if George can out-qualify and outrace Lewis Hamilton around Silverstone, the track around which Lewis Hamilton has always been God tier, as near as makes no difference, unbeatable, it's going to get techie, is it not? McLaren again do what McLaren are making a habit of doing, seizing defeat from the jaws of victory. As far as excellence, some say is what you do every day, and McLaren now have a quick car, but Messrs Norris and Piastri again keep dropping the ball at critical times, doing or failing to do exactly what Red Bull in the hands of Maximilian Verstappen have made a habit of over the past couple of years. Let's talk about Max very quickly, because he did make a mistake, did he not? And damage ultimately hurt him. I was expecting ominous, foreboding Max Verstappen still to go and drop it on pole. However, Max will be asking questions, will he not? There is pressure now. Maybe he doesn't have one of the two things that he said he needed to stay on through to the end of his contract in 2028, being the quickest car on the grid. The Sharks are circling in McLaren, Mercedes. Maybe they're quicker now. We'll see for sure tomorrow during the race. It will be a proof positive of that thesis. Can Mercedes get it done in earnest? Can Lewis turn it around and defeat his young, hungry lion of a teammate, King George of Kings Lynn, Norfolk, first of his name? Oh, the humanity. It's going to get techie. But one thing is for sure, the F1 naysayers on the back of that qualifying session at the British Grand Prix need to take themselves 2 seats. What is better as a sporting enterprise than F1 when it is like this in its final form? Uncertainty, stakes, an outcome that nobody can pin their nail to. No longer is it the Maximilian Verstappen podcast. You have convergence. This is chaos. Oh, the humanity. I cannot wait for tomorrow, for it will be techie. But I digress.